Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday, February 25th, 2019. You're listening to Radio Free Radford.com. If you have not done so, and if this is your first time listening, thank you for listening to us on Radio Free Radford.com. Follow us on Facebook at Radio Free Radford and on Instagram. Like us while you're there. Tweet us at Radio Free Raddy. This morning, it is a blustery day out there. We have woke up temperatures in the 30s out there, feeling more like the mid-30s, I guess I should say. We do have a high wind warning until noon Monday today. It's going to be seeing our winds between 20 to 40 miles per hour. Around the area we picked up, there's been many, at least thousands in the dark this morning, still without electricity, because, Appalachian Power and electricity crews can only do but so much to restore the power lines. Obviously, with it being so windy like this, you really can't do much about that, unfortunately. Temperatures are going to be staying in the 40s, lots of sunshine. That's the plus side of this. I'd say later after the 1 o'clock hour today, we will start to see those winds subside down just a little bit and get back to a normal regular pattern here with the winds just back out of the west-northwest, typical mountainous temperature, weather climate, I should say, low of 29 for sure. And, of course, this weekend we did pick up some rain across the area, and about an inch and a quarter at most spots. Of course, if you got the flash flood alert, that just seemed to be that was never ending, about every hour or so. The flood warning was because of a dam in Pulaski County was at the potential of a threat of it overflowing, and it could bust the dam open with all the water in it. So thankfully that did not happen. Or else we would have been talking about some significant and some extremely dangerous conditions for flooding-wise. And so that's a plus side to that. We are kind of thankful that really didn't happen, because if so, we would have been in a lot of trouble here at Radford and along the New River. Of course, with Lot Z, you did receive the email saying that it was closed most of the weekend. It did reopen up yesterday. I believe it did, and for sure. So anyway, kind of interesting to see how, we're not but X amount of miles from the Pulaski area, and we're here in Radford City, and of course Montgomery County is the next county north of us, so we are dealing with that. Alrighty, switching gears now to your quote of the day, your inspirational quote coming from us. I gotta flip back to wherever it was at. Of course, February, we're almost done with it. How about that? Thursday's the last day. February, man, time is just flying by. I tell you what, Martha Washington is today's quoter, quoting that. Excuse me. The greater part of our misery or unhappiness is determined not by our circumstance, but by our disposition. Alrighty. The greater part of our misery or unhappiness is determined not by our circumstance, but by our disposition. Okay, and Martha Washington, thank you for quoting that. Now, I'm not saying much on that. Word of the day is, coming by Webster Dictionary, is impetus. 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 It's a driving force of an impulse. Also, it's a good gracious, stimulation or encouragement resulting in increasing activity, for sure. So the property possessed by a moving body in virtue of its mass and its motion, used of bodies moving suddenly or violently to indicate the origin and intensity of motion. There you go. Thank you, Webster Dictionary. Today's holiday, the day is obviously the day after the Oscars. We'll talk about that. It is National Clam Chowder Day. I don't know many clam chowder fans out there. I know many folks don't really care for it as much. Some do, especially if you live along the coastlines. You may kind of indulge of it, I guess I should say. Something everybody might. It's chocolate, but it's National Chocolate Covered Nut Day. So anything with chocolate nuts in it, with like the Hershey's, Hershey almonds, the Payday bars. Well, that's not chocolate. That's more of a peanut butter caramel taste than anything else, like the Raisinets, I guess I should say. Those are very popular things as you get to the movie theater. I know a lot of the, back in the day, a lot of people would get those Raisinets with their popcorn and kind of put it in there and kind of mix it up, the popcorn, throw the chocolate together. Anyway, that's more of a raisin, but it's chocolate covered. Nutty, saying that is a delicious crunchy nut to be enjoyed once it has been covered in chocolate, so the possibilities are endless as there are many different types of nuts, as we all know. Of course, obviously nut allergy is a big concern, so kind of be careful picking that out today. For thousands of years, this has been a staple of the human diet. The walnut was a favorite of the ancient Greeks and Romans, while the pecan was a favorite of the Native Americans, but both chocolate and nuts are good for you. Dark chocolate seems to possess a substantial amount of antioxidants, while the nuts contain. Excuse me, sorry about that, folks. I don't know why I'm all tongue-tied this morning. I guess it's Monday, that's why. So anyway, it includes these acids that are involved with it. The fats in the nuts, for the most part, are an unsaturated fat that includes monosaturated fats. Nuts also provide organic a substance that may help make the walls of the arteries more flexible and less prone to blockage from blood clot formations. These nuts are a good source of vitamin E and B2 and are rich in protein, folate, fiber, and essential minerals such as magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, copper, and selenium, which are obviously elements of the periodic table, so get that. The first chocolate-covered peanut was discovered by candy, which was the Goobers, which they're also very well known, and were sold in 1925, and now they have been everywhere in the store. And obviously the M&Ms, that's what I was trying to get to this morning. They was introduced in 1954, and then they were tan until 1960 with the colors red, yellow, and green were added to the product. So get you a bag of M&Ms and maybe some Goobers, and get you maybe, I don't know, go into a theater. I don't know. Just do that. Alrighty, switching gears now. Last night was the Academy Awards. Obviously, it was a big night for a lot of things. For Green Book, which was won the Bittersweet Award. Unfortunately, I did not get to watch the Oscars last night, but I'm here with you to give a little bit of recap as I saw this morning on the news. Something that kind of Green Book obviously was a big. Oh my goodness, our mic fell here. Let me take care of that. Don't you love live audio? Sometimes that's the fun part about it. Anyway, this was basically the Green Book is about a charming, lovable, and altogether conventional road movie, recycling modes from The Odd Couple and are framing them in the dying days of Jim Crow. Won Best Picture. Mahershala Ali was Best Supporting Actor in his 2 years. Sunday was playing Don Shirley, as you know, is the African-American pianist in this. The actor Oscar... Okay, let's try that. Let's see here. Let's see what else took place. 1960s, okay. Some other big top movies, things that kind of took home awards. Graham King won that. It's another movie that came out this last year about Bohemian Rhapsody. Rami Malek won Best Actor in that. Best Sound Mixing was Paul Massey, Tim Kavik, and John Cassell. John Ottoman was the Best Filming Editor. John Wasshurt and Nina Hairstone was the Best Sound Editing in that for sure. Best Picture took that home too. Best Original Song, Shallow by Lady Gaga, Mark Ramson. Andrew Wyatt took home for that. They were competing against All the Stars by Kendrick Lamar, or The Places Were Lost by Mark Shaman. I'll Fight by Diane Warren, and When a Cowboy Trades something. Okay. Thank you, technology. Appreciate you switching up on me as I was reading that. Let's see, I already read that one. Best Original Music Score was by Black Panther. Big, huge movie that came out a couple of years ago. I did see that, so that's a good movie. Best Actress was Olivia Colman by The Favorite. Best Supporting Actress, Mahershala Ali. Best Supporting Actress, that was supporting actor or actress, is Regina King. Best animated feature film was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Something that's interesting out there. Best Director, Alfonso Cuarón. Best Documentary Feature was Free Solo, featuring Jimmy Sheen and Elizabeth Kai Versali. Wow, got that right on the first try. Original Best Screenplay was Peter Farrelly in The Green Book, which I just mentioned earlier. And Best Cinematic person went to Alfonso again, and Roma, Cuarón, and the best production designer was actually a two-place winner, was Hannah Belcher in Black Panther, and Jay Har also in Black Panther. So it was a big night for Black Panther. Took a lot of awards home, and Vice was a big one. Best makeup was Greg Canham and Kate Bisco. So there you go. And obviously the red carpet is always the preview sneak peek everybody likes to watch at. And that seemed to have got some attention to sure. And a lot of other things for trending on Twitter. You just look up the 91st Academy Awards, hashtag Oscars, whatever. And one more thing I'm going to get off here. Spike Lee got the main attention. If you just Google Spike Lee on Google, it just pops up, obviously, who he is. He's an American film director. What he got his award, he pretty much was so excited, he actually gave up and jumped on the person that was nominating the award. I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. And, boy, he was excited and jumped up and gave him a hug because he won. So anyway, look up Spike Lee, and he kind of contributed to, we all remember Prince, right? He was the performer, singer, back in was it 80s, 70s, something like that, 80s, 70s, and 80s, 90s. Passed away back in 2015, 16, I think it was. So for sure, anyway, let's Google that, and quite interesting to see, and a lot of good things that he's been producing for sure. Alrighty, something I found across on Twitter this morning, around the cross of anything you find on Twitter is so creative. If it would load, BBC put this out on breaking news that the United Kingdom had the warmest February on record. Obviously, their temperature is in centigrade, Celsius, breaking with the record temperature of 20.3 degrees centigrade. So convert that to Fahrenheit. Don't do the math. I have the answer for you. It's about 68.5 degrees in Fahrenheit, which again trends over to centigrade. It was the first time the temperature has been over 20 degrees centigrade in the record warmest. The first record, it broke the record back from 1998, which was 19.7 degrees Celsius centigrade, which is about 67.4 degrees Fahrenheit in Greenwich, which obviously is like the dividing line of where the international date line is, close to it in England. And then over the weekend, Hampton Waterworks in southwest London was the hottest spot at 19 degrees Celsius. And so that is very, very warm to these folks out there, because typically they're supposed to be seeing, because it is the northern hemisphere, we're supposed to be experiencing winter. We're not even experiencing winter here. We have just been everywhere. Winter, summer, spring, back to everything. And you fast forward to 12 months, and this record February shows that how very United Kingdom weather can be. Again, with widespread snow and sub-zero temperatures, they're not seeing that. They're seeing the record February on mark. The high pressure basically parked to the south, the east of the British Isles, and had been dragging the warm air from Africa and the Canary Islands on its way. The temperatures were further boosted by something known as a foehn effect, basically mean when warm air flows down on the lee side of the mountains. All this was combined with the mix of sunshine had produced some quite remarkable February for the United Kingdom. So not only were breaking records across the world, they're doing the same thing for sure. Plug in this morning if you're interested in joining the Beehive. It's the any type of yearbook magazine. It's the opportunity to have students for a voice and share their stories. You can find them on social media at Beehive HSM, Radford Beehive on Instagram, and Beehive HSM on Twitter. You can check them out. Those that may build varying levels of participation, leadership position, defined environment. Email them at beehive@radford.edu. And again, you don't need experience. They're here to help you with that too. Alrighty, coming up here later on the show, we'll have Corey Dembo coming out in about 40 minutes, I guess, should say. Let's see who else we have here. Allison Shiner, we'll have her show from 1:30 to 2 today. Let's see what we got on here coming up. Let's see if that's correct. I'm sorry, Terrence Schofield. I got that mixed up. Is at 11. And then Corey will come on tomorrow at 11. So I got those mixed up. And Pettit Puck Talk with Zach Pettit will have his show. You can catch him out. Talks about all NHL hockey. And if you have an interest in that, listening to his show, because it's quite interesting to learn about especially, someone that's, as you recall, on Friday, had the opportunity to be on the Ryan's Report with Tristan Blake Ryans. You can check it out on the Facebook page. Had me on as a guest. And, well, I'm not real to sports etiquette. I think we discovered that way back right around the middle of football season last semester when the NFL was going on. So, anyway, that just goes to show what we got going for you. And that's why I stick to weather. I kind of give the folks a hard time about that around here in student media. And, of course, they always joke with them. I joke about them about give them a hard time. They give me a hard time for it. So anyway, tomorrow on the show we will have an activist photographer who does work for the Tartan. So you may have seen some of his publications issued in the Tartan, which please be advised to pick those up. They are all around campus. You can't miss them. Most of them are in the Dalton Bonnie Muse building right here behind Tyler. Here in Tyler we have those stands, and we have them scattered in McGuffey and Young Hall, Porterfield. Go by the gym. You can pick up a copy. And like I said, the Bonnie Dalton, you got those two stands there on the first floor and on the second level where the Lego room is. You kind of come off the elevator right there to your right as soon as you get off. You can't miss it. We'll start recording these on Facebook Live. We'll start going this on these interviews coming up. And on Friday, boy, do we have a special treat for you. I'm not going to give it out who it is. I may have said it already, but I'm not going to say who it is. You're going to be in for a treat. Kind of give you a hint right there, maybe some singing. Anyway, I don't know why I just did that. All right, folks, I'm done with you this morning. I'll be back with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with our guest here. And I hope you have a wonderful Monday. I know it's just the beginning of the week. We're getting here, folks. Next week, midterms. Following the week is spring break. It's coming, folks. I promise you. Have a wonderful Monday, and I'll be back with you tomorrow.